All right, let's talk about winter driving. For most folks, winter weather is just an inconvenience, right? But for you, as a professional driver, it's a whole different challenge. It really demands a higher level of skill, a ton of preparation, and a serious sense of responsibility. This briefing is designed to make sure that you and our company vehicles get through the winter season in one piece. So let's just jump right in with the single most important number you need to burn into your brain. Your stopping distance on snow and ice can increase by up to 10 times. And no, that's not a typo. I mean 10 times. This means your normal driving habits, the way you usually brake, you gotta throw all that out the window. This one fact changes absolutely everything. So to get you ready, here's how we're gonna break it all down. We'll start with what it means to be a professional in these conditions. Then we'll cover all the prep work you need to do before you even get in the van. We'll talk about what to do when you're actually on the road, how to manage specific hazards, and we'll wrap up with your own personal safety commitment. Okay, first up, your professional responsibility. Look, this is about so much more than just getting from one job site to the next. When you're behind the wheel of one of our vans, you're responsible for yourself, for the public around you, and for a really valuable piece of company equipment. And that duty of care, it gets amplified big time in winter. This right here makes that 10x number terrifyingly real. At just 30 miles per hour on a perfectly dry road, you need about 23 meters to come to a full stop. Now put that same van on snow or ice, and that distance balloons to 230 meters. To put that in perspective, that's pretty much the length of 2 entire football pitches. That's why your entire mindset has to change. All right, let's move on to pre-drive prep. You know, the truth is, most winter incidents are totally preventable. And that prevention, it starts right here. Your journey to a safe day literally begins before you even turn the key. Your daily walk around is absolutely non-negotiable in the winter. And I mean clear all the snow and ice, not just a little porthole on the windscreen. Snow flying off your roof is a massive hazard, and, it's illegal to drive if you can't see properly. Check your tires. Yeah, 1.6 millimeters is the legal minimum, but honestly, you want way more than that for decent grip. Make sure your lights are clean and working so other people can actually see you. And this one's critical, top up with proper screen wash and coolant. Plain water is just going to freeze solid, and then you're either driving blind or cooking the engine. Think of this as your professional survival kit. Seriously, it's not just for a breakdown, it's for if you get stranded for hours in bad weather. A fully charged phone is your lifeline. Blankets, warm clothes, they're essential. Some food and water could be a lifesaver. Oh, and don't forget the sunglasses. It sounds weird, but the glare from a low sun bouncing off fresh snow can be absolutely blinding. Okay, now for when you're actually out there on the road. If you take away one thing from this section, let it be this mantra: smooth, steady, and slow. Every single thing you do, accelerating, braking, steering, it has to be gentle. Any sudden, jerky movements are your absolute enemy on a slippery road. So when you're pulling away, your main goal is to avoid wheel spin. Here's a great pro technique. Select second gear instead of first. It sounds a bit odd, but trust me. Then apply the gas really gently, keep the revs low, and just ease the clutch out smoothly. This cuts the torque to the wheels and helps them grip the road, instead of just spinning uselessly on the ice.
Slowing down is just as much of an art form. You have to plan way, way ahead. Your best friend here is engine braking. That means shifting down through the gears and letting the engine do the work of slowing the van. When you do have to use the brake pedal, be gentle. And here's a great tip. Tap the brake pedal lightly and early. It just flashes your lights to the driver behind you, giving them a ton of extra warning that you're about to slow down.
So this is the big one. If you remember nothing else about being on the road, remember this. That old 2-second rule, forget it. It's gone. In icy conditions, you need a gap of up to 10 seconds, and I want you to actually count it out. 1,000, 2 1,000. It feels like a huge distance, I know, but it's not being overly cautious. It's just physics. It's the bare minimum time and space you're going to need to react and stop safely. Let's talk about hazard management, because even if you do everything right, you can still hit a nasty surprise. This section is all about how you react when things go wrong fast, and we'll cover things like black ice and skids. First up, the invisible enemy, black ice. It's basically a super thin, totally clear layer of ice that just looks like a wet patch on the road. And because it's so hard to spot, you have to learn to anticipate it. Be extra careful on bridges and overpasses and in any shady spots. Those are the places that freeze first and stay frozen the longest. So just pause for a second. I want you to picture it. You're driving along, and all of a sudden the steering feels weirdly light, and you feel the back of the van start to drift. You've hit black ice. What's your immediate gut reaction? And more importantly, is it the right one? Okay, here's the playbook. First, and this is the hardest part, you have to fight that instinct to slam on the brakes. Don't do it. It'll just lock up the wheels and make things worse. Instead, take your foot completely off the gas. Just lift it off. Keep the steering wheel pointed straight ahead. Now, if the back of the van does start to slide out, you make a small, gentle steering movement into the skid. Calm, minimal movements are what will save you.
Hills are a whole other challenge. Going uphill, it's all about momentum. You need to leave a ton of space in front so you can keep a nice, steady speed all the way up without having to stop. But going downhill, that's all about control. You need to be in a low gear and let the engine braking do most of the work for you. And whatever you do, never, ever coast to neutral. You lose all control.
And that brings us to our final and maybe most important section, your safety commitment. Because everything we've talked about, all the checks, all the techniques, they all come together under this one big idea. In our line of work, being a professional isn't about being fast. It's defined by how safely you operate. If I had to boil this entire briefing down to just one sentence, this would be it, right here. If it's slippery, do everything slowly, as things can go wrong very quickly. It's so simple, but it's the absolute heart of safe winter driving. Slow acceleration, slow steering, slow braking, everything slow. So we'll end with a question that only you can answer. Just knowing this stuff isn't enough. You have to commit to it on every single trip. So before you start that engine, before you pull out into the cold, I want you to look at the conditions, think about the risks, and ask yourself, is my mindset right for this drive today? Because your safety and the safety of everyone else on the road, it all depends on your answer. Drive safe out there.